Brazilian Jiu Jitsu and ego. Guys, we got to talk about it because there are two ditches that you might be falling in and it's killing your joy of Jiu Jitsu. Let's not fall in either of these ditches when it comes to ego. Let's get into it right now. This came to my attention from a quote by Gary Tonin, who's a world-class Jiu Jitsu practitioner. And the statement he made about training and ego is worth paying attention to. Listen to what he said. In an average 5-round training session, I will get submitted 15 times. Take that information and ask yourself whether you really have no ego. I love this quote. It exposes some really good things, and it exposes the fact that most people have an unhealthy ego, and it's killing us. How do we respond when we're at the gym and our peers are submitting us? His statement is accurate because how would you and I respond if we are in the same shoes and we're at the gym with our peers, the people at our level, and we have to submit 15 times in a 5-round training session? Quick math tells us that's a lot of taps, and most of us will not handle that properly. This is where it gets hilarious because people can train jiu-jitsu for a long time and still have issues with ego. But before we go into the details of the ditches, let's define what we're talking about when we say ego. Is ego bad? Is it good? What's the deal? I want to lean on my good friend Jocko Willink, who wrote a book called The Way of the Warrior Kid. And I've got 3 boys, so I love to read them this book. And in this, he's going to give, I think, the greatest explanation of ego. You guys ready for this? This is fantastic. Now, I got to set the stage real quick. There's a 12-year-old kid who got really good at jiu-jitsu. A new kid comes to town and starts to dominate that kid who was getting good. So the kid's like, oh no. And he despises this kid. He doesn't know what to do because he thought he was good, and now this new person is blowing that all up. So what do you do with that? I mean, look, what you and I can identify with is you think you're doing pretty good until someone new shows up around your rank, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher, and what? Completely destroys us. And we're like, wait a second, I thought I was getting good at jiu-jitsu. This is where this conversation becomes really helpful. So listen up, I promise you, this will help you in jiu-jitsu. All right, so Uncle Jake shows up and he's gonna define to this young kid, Mark, exactly what ego is. Listen into this. Let me put it to you like this. If someone has a big ego, that means they think they are the greatest thing in the world. They think they are better than other people. They think they deserve to be at the top. If someone's ego is too small, then they lack confidence. They don't think they can do well. They don't think they can win. A person's ego should be balanced in the middle somewhere. They should have confidence, but not overconfident. They should believe they could win, but at the same time know that they're going to have to work hard to get there. So ego isn't good or bad, it's just something you have to learn to control. That is fantastic. I love that. And here's why. Jiu-jitsu is filled with success and failure. And the 2 ditches we can fall in is a direct result of which one of those we're living in, right? For example, things are going really good, right? You're having a lot of success in jiu-jitsu. Guess what can happen to your ego that makes it really unhealthy? It can get inflated and it can get big. And now all of a sudden you think you're the baddest person in the gym, baddest person on the planet. And guess what? What happens when the new person shows up or you get to roll with your coach and all of a sudden that all gets deflated and that bubble gets popped? What happens? Flip side, the second ditch is failure. And sometimes we respond with that with what? Oh, and this is the one that we probably camp out in more. Well, I'm struggling, whether it's a class, it's a week, it's a month, your jiu-jitsu's on the struggle bus, and you start thinking things like, I'm horrible at jiu-jitsu, I stink, can I give this belt back? Give me the belt before that. I don't deserve to wear this, right? We start questioning everything. Our ego gets too deflated. And so you have to guard yourself against these 2 ditches of ego because neither of them are healthy. And we don't ever graduate from success and failure. Both of those things are always going to be a part of our journey in jiu-jitsu. I know there's rare exceptions, but those are super rare. The reality is, even those people, like the Gordon Ryans, the Hickson Gracies, they paid a severe price of failure to get to where they are with success. But those people are rare, right? Most of us mere mortals are going to what? Be a little bit of both, right? Success? Sure. Failure? Yes. You will have both in jiu-jitsu. So I want to challenge you to think about how you're responding to when you're having success. Hey, you know what? Let's enjoy that. Like, we want success, and that's a good thing. Celebrate that. But guard against your ego getting too inflated with that, right? Stay steady and stay balanced. Likewise, you find yourself on the struggle bus and it's just not clicking and timing's off and no moves are coming to mind and you're just stuck under side control and under mount and you just cannot get out. No, you know what? Hang in there. Let's remember this thing called jiu-jitsu is a process and it takes time. And by time, I mean a long time to figure these things out. I'm at brown belt now and I feel like I'm having more aha moments about the most basic of jiu-jitsu moves now than ever before. I mean, white belt, it was all new, but now at brown, it's like, oh, how have I missed this detail? How am I at brown belt? Talk about question. How am I at brown belt, but I missed this? Hey, steady ego, right? I may have missed that detail, but look, let's not get too deflated. I learned it now. We're good. We're moving forward. We're learning. It's a process. You can't learn all this in a day or a year or even 10 years. It's why black belts say they just started learning jiu-jitsu at black belt. And so I want to challenge you. Don't fall into either of those ditches. You want a steady and consistent ego that can handle success, but it can also handle failure. You know why? Because you're going to have both of those. Learn to embrace it. Keep that ego steady. That is the healthy balance that's going to help us enjoy jiu-jitsu and stay on the path of learning it. Guys, thanks so much for listening in. And I want to challenge you, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do. It means a lot to me. I love to have your feedback. I love to hear your comments, to read where you guys are coming from, where you're training from, the things you're wrestling with. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. As we go to Worlds, I will certainly be bringing you guys some content about that update. I guess the short and sweet is my weight's coming on point, so that's good. If you're still listening to this video, you might be curious. That's difficult because I'm in that 222 bracket, which means if I'm any heavier than that, it's unlimited weight, so got to be on target there. And I'm happy to report we're on target. Got a few pounds to go, but moving in the right direction. Until next time, guys, train on.